Guys, welcome to my another YouTube tutorial, and this time we're going to see some additional ansible command which are very important. Technically, they are called ad hoc commands. Ad hoc commands that you can simply run it in script way. I will show you shortly. What does it mean? So first thing first, in previous tutorial we have done something like how to add the host in the inventory file, but in this tutorial we are going to discuss something, how to set up passwordless authentication with root user. This is very important because sometimes what happens is that for example you're managing more than 100 server or 20, 30, 50 servers, and on some server or mostly on some phase you need root user authentication to install some stuff, and sometimes you need to copy some file from here to there, and normally there is a lot of problem with ownership and file ownership, and on industrial scale or in the enterprise level it is very important that you must activate the passwordless authentication for you. So you have root privilege or you have sudo user privilege in this sudo file. This is something to do with Linux mostly, but this is very important. Then we'll see that how we can do a copy command with essentially b flag with which means that become user, which essentially means sudo or root authentication. This is just for demonstration purpose, which means that if this task runs successful, it means you have configured successfully your sudo authentication, which means that you can do all the root user access regardless what you want to do. Like you want to install nginx in nginx, you want to install some other Tomcat, any server, xyz, whatever. Well, then we'll discuss the inventory categorization, which means that in previous tutorial or in previous video, we have just created a list of hosts in our inventory file. The next thing that we could do is that we could really categorize them into different kind of environment, like pre-prod, prod, or dev, test, whatever environment it is, which means that at the umbrella level or at the top level we have some meaningful categorization. So the basic concept is that for development purpose sometimes the need for these environment is different. For example, what I want to do in the dev environment, I might not be doing this for all the server on the prod environment, or let's say like that other way around. What I mean is that you have some different kind of different stuff is running. This is like dev, this is pre-prod, and this is prod. Sometimes there's app running on this environment, and it's maybe database or the DB is configured here. So like there are different server, this is a different server, or sometimes what happens is that I need to do some different configuration here, and it's different configuration here. In that case, the authentication with all is gonna mess up the stuff. Okay, so one thing I forgot to add, very important concept we're gonna discuss is idempotency concept. Idempotency, not indem. So great. This is also very important here. So let me just discuss from scratch. The step number one is sudo vsudo. So vsudo, what is vsudo? Vsudo is kind of very important utility given by Linux so that you don't mess up with the password, because if you mess up with the sudo file itself, which always reside in etc sudo file. This is a catastrophe which it's very hard to recover this. So that's why they have this utility to first back up the sudo file always and then do it in the right way. So first thing first, we need to configure password-less authentication, which simply means that if I want to access this computer here with SSH, because in the background it's really using SSH, and if I first I need IP of this machine, and if I say IP and the IP of this machine is this one, and the username is user prod, and if I want to SSH into it like user prod at the rate of this IP machine. I don't know what I have written here, but I have copied a lot of SO stuff here, like that. Now what happened is that I have configured password-less authentication. That's why I can get into it. So for example, if I come here, I go here sudo vi sudo 1 2 3 4 5. So this is the main file etc sudo. This is very important file. As you can see, you are using the utility vi sudo. That's why we've been able to access to the temporary file first as a backup so that we don't mess up. Here is the important line that we need to configure always. User free prod is user, all is equal to all is the syntax, no password all, which means that I am giving the no password access to it. So hash, now I'm on the different keyboard. That happens all the time, that sometimes I use US keyboard, sometimes I use this one, and if I do that and now if it's asked yes, you install yes, and you save in the temp, and temp is going to automatically implement it or connect it with the sudo file, which is this one. If I go to here, well, I get sudoers permission denied. That's sudo. Great. As you can see that this file is now commented, right? But I have made the changes in temp file, but temp file automatically pastes it here. So if I run bash again, like to implement it, and if I come here and I do the same, okay, because it is in the same network, that's why it has added it into the non-host. But normally what happens is that you need to enter a password, right? If I say bash here and I do it again, something like, okay, I need IP again, maybe SSH, different bash. How does happen here? IPA. So right now I'm in different three machines, right? I'm in different three machines. And so I'm in three different machines right now, which is virtual machines, and you know, so SSH user rod. Okay, for some reason it isn't asking for password, but normally if you are it has to remember, because in the previous file I have added this into the super privilege or non-passwordless authentication. Might be I need to restart it once and then it's take effect, but Now you need to enter the password. Now the problem is, what problem we are facing right here is that we don't need to give password because we don't have any interface or any interactivity when we talk about ansible, right? So now great. So we have to do this on all the computer, right? We have to do this on all the computers. This is very important. This is node 1, this is node 2. There are different nodes. So for example, if I go to okay, now I'm here. I need to get out of it, and then I'm in Ansible. I get the hosts, and these are the hosts. In the previous video, I haven't configured this. I only have done these two lines, and there is no categorization. Now I have categorization. What additional stuff I have added? Ansible SSH password. I have written the password so that it could do. But great. Now for configuring the root password or adding the sudo in the second machine, what I have to do is that I have to simply write sudo. Great. And then vi sudo. And as you can see, task for password now, which it is doing. I have to write again this line, the name of the machine, all is equal to all. This is optional, you can do all for all groups, but this is the most important stuff. You need to add no password, all. Great. I have, when I do that, it is unchanged because I haven't added anything. And for this, we have configured the password less authentication now from Ansible to all our nodes, which is great news. So we are done with this part. This part is done. Cool. This part is done. Now let's come to the next part where I need to do that. Copy command to check that if I am able to copy stuff, or on first hand, if I'm able to really ping my host. Ansible all mean that all server module means that Python module written for ping, and I should do ping, which means that now for both of my nodes, node 1, node 2, I'm able to access. Right, great. This is great news. So we are able to do this. Now let's do something which is very similar to copy. Well, copy. For copy, you can go to um, the Ansible website or module. You can click on all module there, right? And then you can find the glossary or tutorial or whatever you can say it. You're gonna see everything that how it look like, what you have to, if I okay. So I'm not gonna go into the detail of the documentation, but you can always go into the documentation and see what is there. Right, great. Now the next thing, next we need to check that if copy function is working or not. Let me just touch. Great. Test file.txt. Sudo touch test file. Great, super. Now we have test file. Now what we can do is that ansible all module is the copy. Great. Argument is always or must come in double quotes. Any command you write is always in double quotes. A means that argument, M means that module I have discussed in previous video. And here the module written in the Python by Ansible, they have given the syntax, that which is the syntax and how in that syntax they have given these argument attributes. Attribute number one is the source, and source is the same as the destination file, which means that test file. Otherwise, you have to write a full path. Full path. If you are not in the same folder, you have to write full path. Source. Test file, tstfile text, create test equal to, now destination I see that it is 10, tmp 10. I can also say home, but it's 10. Great, super. Let's see what happened here. Oops. Okay, so it's complaining about something, which means something. Great. This task copy has extra parameter. Which extra parameter I do have here? Okay, that was the problem you have seen. The main problem was that I have added space there, right? And when I remove the space, you can see that it worked, right? I just remove the space here from this, and it worked. Great. It says that that, and I can come to cd temp, and there is a new text file, test file edit. Name is the test file. Here it should be same temps ls test file. Great, super. Now our second part is also completed. Now let's test that our password-less authentication work now. This is very important. What we can do, we can simply add the flag at the end. Okay, destination is not writable at all. Might be I can add this in the end. Great. You see how small things makes difference, because after the temp you need to add forward slash, and now it worked. Create. With that, it is very necessary to tell you that it says two things: change is equal to false, but even though it is success and even though it has changed the timestamp here. Here comes the concept of idempotency. Idempotency means that, in very simple way, let me just tell you idempotency. Now, idempotency means that, for example, I have 100 computers here, I have 100 computers here, and 100 here. I need to copy some file which is like 1 GB to all the files, and whenever I add the command, it's trying to start copying all the file time and again, which in fact is really less efficient and creating a lot of overhead cost or resourcing or extra resources. are consuming the resources, and also it's not a very environmental friendly way to do this. So the Ansible automatically figures this out. It's always create a checksum, which means that if you see always here, it's always creating a checksum. Checksum is nothing but a kind of version control which sees that if any single file has been changed or not. And it automatically, next time if I do this, it's trying to figure out that where I need to perform the changes and where it's already been changed, and it's gonna skip them, which is very smart way to save a lot of resources and duplication and redundancy and repeating stuff. In simple terms, that is idempotency. So you avoid doing the same setup, configuration, copying, installation, whatever it is, time and again. And this is done by checksum, or very smartly checking the each change in each file level. So you have to ignore if something is already done. Great, super. We have covered the idempotency, we have covered how you do passwordless authentication, how you do it with that. We have checked B flag, it is working with passwordless authentication, which means it should work for each and every installation, configuration, whatever. Now, setup command I will discuss in the last, because it is very easy. You have to do barely nothing. The stuff which remains is that how you can categorize the server. For example, in inventory list, you have all the list of IP address and password, whatever it is, like from 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is some IP. Now you can simply add a bracket here, curly braces, square braces, and you can categorize. Simple as that. Let me show you how you can do this. Very easy. Go here, sudo nano hosts. Beautiful. I have added one computer as a dev, one is a prod. Cool. No fancy stuff. Here I can simply say ansible. Instead of writing all, I can write dev, right? And then I can say module ping. Great. Now you can say that instead of all, it's only giving me node 1. And if I say my second prod here, and it's gonna tell me node 2. Now this is just a simple ping stuff, but you can almost add anything or do anything, right? You can do practically all the 3000 module of Ansible. Great. Thank you very much for watching. This is the end. One thing is how you do setup, which means you just write instead of ping setup. For example, I want to know a detail, a big detail, a very deep detail about my computer setup. Setup, set up. So you can see that it's giving me like the whole detail from the computer. Why we need that? We need that. We'll discuss in next steps. But you can see that how detailed it is. It's giving you almost at the very assembly language level, or very low level language basis, that what I'm using. Even it's telling me that I'm using VirtualBox, and I have virtual CD-ROM, and I have this much space, and this much I have scheduler, each and every single thing. This is needed because sometimes you need to know about your stuff to do some configuration. That's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll come with more advanced, playbook and how you can do this automation a little bit. Or you don't have to do scripting. how this command line where you write in inverted comma something, there is a more smarter way for doing that, and there is need for that as well. For the sake of efficiency, we'll discuss that. Thank you very much. Bye.